The teacher empties people's minds. This is chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching, and today I'm going to be talking about the differences I see in mindsets between seven figure and eight figure e commerce entrepreneurs. So, without any further ado, I am not an eight figure e commerce entrepreneur. So, this is purely based on my experience after working with over 200 e-commerce brands in the last over 8 years and managing their email marketing. And I just wanted to make a video. First of all, I was thinking about like what video to make, and this has been frustrating me for a while. And I wanted to make this quick video. I say quick because I am trying to make it quick so I get more clicks and view and watch time. But there's just definitely some clear differences that I started noticing and some tendencies, and I wanted to share those with you. So let's go into it. First topic: discounts. So out of the last, yeah, let's say 200 e-commerce stores, it's been more than that for sure. Maybe it's like 300 at this point. I don't even know. Um, there has been definitely a few people who told me like, Ben, I don't want to do discounts. It devalues my brand and like all of this. And if you're someone who has watched my videos before, you kind of probably have a feeling what I'm about to say. It's always the poorest people who have problems with discounts, or the like, okay, I worked with a Fortune 500 brand, and yeah, for them discounts were a little bit more complicated to do, or it just at that moment I could really understand why it would devalue a brand, or like that would be tangible impact on devaluing the brand. But man, if you started an e-commerce brand 7 months ago and you think discounts will devalue your brand, unless you happen to be in luxury jewelry, or like you're like Gymshark, but even Gymshark does discounts, okay? And by the way, whenever I say these caveats, like if you're in luxury jewelry, it always kind of makes me laugh because it's very, the fact that you're watching this video, it's really unlikely you're in that niche. And also, if you are, you're like a new e-commerce brand and you're in jewelry. If you're watching this video and you make a lot of money, then don't watch this video. Just message me, and I will just do your emails, and it will be better for you. Because every minute, because if you make over 100K in, let's say, that niche, and you continue watching this video every second, you could have spent that with, I don't know, improving your delivery process. But if you make less than 50, then are you in the right niche? So anyway, like, this is just like a clear indication, because it's a little bit like not offering discounts is, from a certain point of view, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, is actually being cheap. Not offering discounts is actually being cheap, because it kind of means that you're not prepared to give up profit margin, which probably means you either don't make that much money or you don't make much money on your products. But for example, if you look at Amazon, they're losing money, but they're like losing money in order to take market share. So it's kind of like a higher level. But your profit margins should allow you to do this. And by the way, I don't mean that I'm a one trick pony with only email marketing only works with discounts, but it's a big part of it. Okay, like I tried so many different incentives, and yeah, like there can be loyalty points can be good, and I tried the ebook stuff and like giveaways, but none of them are as good as discounts. Giveaways, they bring in a load of people who are not qualified. They were just in it for the free thing, and it just doesn't make sense. And then the ebook, nobody, or like, okay, not nobody, but let's say the average conversion rate on a pop-up or sign-up form for 10% off, which is a very small amount if you think about it, you should still be able to make a lot of money with that. And no, you're not going to train your people to only buy when you have a discount. Don't worry about that, because people, the amount of times we send out an email and we offer 20% off, and there's a code in there, and sometimes we don't add the discount code automatically on purpose because people just forget, like 20% off, okay, great, and then they go to the website, add to cart, oh, I need to log in, or like check out, fill out the checkout form, and then they just forget the discount. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of like, it's another tool that you have. But I don't want to spend all of this time on discounts, but just there's this clear tendency because people with 8 figures and like those mindsets, they don't really care. Like if it's profitable, let's do it. They don't really like overthink stuff. And this is why I started this video with this Lao Tzu quote about, whoops, I skipped ahead, that like sometimes the difference is between like 7 and 8 figures in like is like unlearning stuff is what I've noticed and what they've told me as well. Like, hey, like how did you, because I met quite a few people who were, let's say, stagnant and hit this like 7 figure plateau and they couldn't scale to eight. And first of all, like, why do you want to scale to eight? But okay, you're watching this video. It's good to have a why, but maybe that's a topic for another video, probably outside of my pay grade. But moving on to the next point, email design. People that I've met or manage their emails who make 8 figures a year, they like if whatever works better, like whatever is going to make more money, they will be happy with that one. The clients where I had the most issues with being super picky with design are poor. It's not even, honestly, this one is, it's maybe like a 8 figure versus like some one point in this video could also be people who make money versus people who don't make money. But I just kind of wanted to have this title because um yeah, it's just, I just thought it was a better title in all honesty. But people who don't make money with their e-commerce store, what I've noticed, the people who pay me the least, who pay the slowest, who have the biggest problems with paying in the first place, are also the pickiest with email design. And I'm not the only one who's experienced this way. If you ask any email marketer, any marketer, anyone delivering a service, you will know this. So if you catch yourself doing it, stop in doing it. Oh, this is my favorite. I need you to do this ASAP. Like people who make 8 figures, I never hear this from them. I never heard this sentence from them. They always pay fast. They are like, hey, in 2 months, we're going to do an event just to let you know. um, but if it's too slow, too short of a notice, I understand. Like that. And the people who don't make money, they will immediately ask me, I need you to do this ASAP. This, why was this? Why is it like that? They're the most likely to send me an email with all caps. All right. And yeah, like as Confucius said, life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Simple skills, fancy fills. I've been doing the email marketing of a company that does about 300K per month, and they brought me in to do consultation and do an audit of their Klaviyo account. I did a consultation call today, so it's like really fresh in my mind. And I'm not able to share the screenshots, but they have the most complicated flows I've ever seen in my life. Just so many profile property updates, so many. Actually, you know what? Here it is. Here is. I decided to include this. So this is. They have 5 abandoned cart flows, and this is one of them. So you can see how many branches are in here, and they set up all of this fancy stuff, which can be okay, by the way. It can work. They have these profile properties where an email will have like 6 different creatives based on the 6 different categories of profiles they have categorized them into. But for example, at the same time, they sent one of the things I fixed. They had 2 emails being sent at the same moment, and it was a mistake. And it was like, okay, let's just say they're in supplements niche, and they have like 6 very different symptoms and like illnesses that this supplement treats. And one of them was for let's say gut health, and the other one was like your throat. And it was like super different, and they were being sent at the same time because it's so complicated. You cannot underestimate the power of how much complexity something like this creates, because it makes you basically it increases the risk that you might make a mistake like this, because you look at it and you cannot immediately spot a mistake. But if the flow is only like one branch, then it's super easy to spot, oh, we're sending 2 emails in the same moment. They also had an A B test for 206 days where the 2 emails were exactly the same, but the links didn't work in one of them. And these people have tens of thousands of visitors per day. And this is the abandoned cart flow, which is the most triggered one. So the point that I'm trying to illustrate is we have this complexity bias, and I would urge you to avoid this at all costs unless it's like super necessary. Like, let's say, okay, for example, if you have a business with one product, you should have more products. But let's say you have one product, you shouldn't have complex flows. If you have a business with two products, you can have flows for the two separate products separately and do it that way. If you have three is the moment where I would start questioning, do we need, maybe we can have a flow specific for the products. Like I say, abandoned cart for product one, another one for product two, for product three. Okay. At four products, that's where it starts to get messy, because then you might need to update the product name once, and then Shopify synchronizes later, and then it creates all of these issues in Klaviyo, and then it doesn't get sent, and you actually lose a lot of money in those 7 days compared to the 0.1% higher conversions you would get from having the copy a little bit more tailored to that specific product. Because those 7 days when you will be facing, and trust me, you will face, if you have a Klaviyo account for more than 1 year, there's going to be 7 days when, if you did this complicated stuff, it's going to cost you minimum 1 week of like being able to fix things, because then you need to, you're, the first day you might not notice it. Second day, if you're like really on looking at the account, you might notice it, and you try to fix it yourself, and then something else comes up, and then you're on day 3 and you're like, I still haven't fixed this, and then you write to Klaviyo support, they take another day to respond, and so on. So these are some spillover effects that many people don't consider, and I'm approaching the end of this video, so we can talk about this later as well, and feel free to check my other videos. That was it for today, with the difference between, let's say, poor ecom guy versus rich ecom guy, based on Rich Dad Poor Dad title structure. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment everywhere. If you got this far, I love you. Have a great day.